Thank you so much for joining us from across the globe. I'm actually able to say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. I've always wanted to do that. My name is Karen Doyle, and I am a senior recruiter. I recruit for all types of what I like to call rock stars in their own field across EMEA and ANZ. So, I, for one, am really truly excited for this event today and what it holds. We want you to sit back and take it all in. You're going to hear from a wide range of speakers today, women who have been successful and taken very different journeys on that path to success and what it means to them. Whether it be the start of your day or close to the finish of your day, I hope you have a cup of something hot to keep you going. And throughout, feel free to drop any questions into the chat box on the side of your screen, and we'll take some time at the end for those. So, without further ado, let me introduce you to Melanie Vogel, our VP of Value and Solution Engineering. And Melanie joins us today from the US. So, a very good morning to you, Melanie. How are you?
I'm doing great. Karen, how are you doing?
Good, thank you.
All right. Well, I have to say, welcome everyone. I'm really excited to be here. I've joined BMC about 2, 3 months ago, and it's been an incredible, incredible experience. And when I heard about this particular webinar, I jumped at the chance to be part of it. With a long history in IT, of over 25 years working in a variety of roles for a variety of businesses. I mean, you can see some of the logos there. I actually started my career several years ago. We'll leave it there. In channel sales, working for GE Access as a Sun Microsystems master distributor, and having that channel experience, and then moving from there to work for Sun itself as we neared Y2K, was an incredible experience to move back from Boulder, Colorado to Boston, and really take a variety of roles in the service side of the house, in business development, operations, different chief of staff roles that gave me exposure to not only a variety of roles within services and sales and such, but experience with products, with customers, with industry, with different types of leaders. And when Sun moved in and was acquired by Oracle, it was a great opportunity to then, look at that type of culture, that atmosphere, their go-to-market motions, what's important to them, and how we impress upon development with our teams. Leaving Oracle for EMC was a natural progression when I found some old Sun folks there, and they had some interesting problems to solve. And when I look at the choices I've made in my career, it really was some different turns than most people take. I didn't always want to go up. I wanted to go left and right and zigzag to learn different things that I was interested in, to solve problems that were new to me, to take what I've learned from different roles, experiences, skill sets, and even the impressions that I got from the leaders that I've been working with and from, or for rather, into every new environment, replicating what I loved, really staying away from and remembering what didn't feel so good, and taking what is passionate of mine, the people. And if there's one thing that I love the most, it's winning as a team. So as when EMC joined Dell to become Dell Technologies, it was a really interesting, significant merger in cultures and in products and in how we do the different things that we did there. In the many years that I've been in the industry and roles and customers I've had the luxury to work with, or the opportunity to work with, one thing always floated to the top for me, and that's how you work with people. It's not always the what, but it's the how. It makes all the difference. As I said earlier, I am a big fan of winning as a team. And you can see one of the pictures up at the top, and my slide here is outside of work. Obviously, I played a lot of soccer in my life, and as an adult, we've got a great group of ladies from Massachusetts who played in a bunch of national tournaments and Vets Cups, and we win as a team. And what we do well is we know how to take the best out of each player, and have timing and thought and strategy, and really win as a team that brings everybody's pride and enthusiasm up as a whole. Well, I think one of the things that I've loved about BMC is really the culture. Having a lot of experience with different team members and organizations, What I was looking for was an environment where no matter what you could do, you had a place to come and thrive. And everyone's thinking about diversity and inclusion these days, and people are really moving the needle on the diversity. But I think what we're falling down, or we're seeing other companies fall down in, is the inclusion piece. And that's what made BMC so compelling for me, is I'm looking around, even the fine ladies you're going to hear from just after me, is that there's talent everywhere. There's passion everywhere. How do you take that and make the most of it and add it to what you've already got to become something bigger, something better, something more innovative, something more compelling to your customers, and helps to develop people in our industry as a whole? That to me is exciting. So I have a quote on the left here by Verna Myers, who I really enjoy, is diversity is being invited to the party, but inclusion is being asked to dance. Now, having all these great people and underrepresented, groups within our variety of cultures come in and bring what they have to complement what's already there, that's the key, and that's the difference. And that's the BMC way. Coming into to BMC in December, towards the end of the quarter, things are rushed and they're intense and they're hot. It was fantastic. It was a very welcoming time, and they do win as a team as well. And one thing I also love to do is to give back. And I think that, in my new role at BMC, I get to do that. So I'm thrilled. One of the things we get to do with our customers is as we work through a migration together on certain products, we get to plant 100 trees together. Now, I don't know about you, but I got a lot of Amazon boxes coming to my home this year. And I feel better planting trees anywhere we can. And doing it with a customer, with a partner, it feels good. We're doing something better for the world together. When I give back outside of the workplace, I focus on the Tuberous Sclerosis Alliance. If you can see in the lower right-hand box of the screen, I think they've got the best tagline out there. We'll give everything but up. Now, my daughter and my son, you can see in the lower left-hand corner, I will be very honest, this picture is a few years old. It's the last photo I have of my son before he became 2 feet taller than me. But his sister does have tuberous sclerosis complex, so we do a lot to support her community and do fundraising and raise awareness there. So joining BMC was a no-brainer for me. It's been a few months in, and I can't wait for the next many years ahead. And so what I'd love to do is pass the mic to my friend Shanaz Musa, because she is a great example of how BMC can lift you off your feet, even in Africa. Shanaz?
Thank you so much, Melanie. Tough act to follow. Don't have that many organizations that I've worked for, many years of experience. But thank you very much, and good afternoon, everybody from sunny South Africa. I'm Shanaz Musa, and I am an account manager for BMC Software. A few weeks ago, I was actually asked by someone in my network that came across a position being advertised in BMC, and he asked me, what is it that makes working at BMC so great, or what is it that you like about BMC? And I ended up giving him an absolute earful 30 minutes into the conversation, and I was like, oh my God, I've got so much to share. So when Karen approached me and asked me to do this, I thought, how do I tell you guys all of this in only 7 minutes? So I thought, you know what? Let me start by telling you why I believe that BMC is actually my dream job. I started out with a vision board 3 years ago, highlighting, what my perfect job means, what it entails. And I can honestly say without a doubt, going through, the recruitment process at BMC and then onboarding 18 months ago, the passion, the drive, the genuine interest that every single person, from Karen being the recruiter up to the VP, that they showed in me, taking interest in understanding what makes Shanaz tick, what is actually important to you. That made me realize that this is, without a doubt, an organization that I want to work for. The very first day I joined, my then manager called me aside and said to me, I need you to know that you've earned your right working at BMC by joining BMC. And I was like, you know what? I was blown away. You don't even know what I can do, and already you believe that I've earned my right to be here. And automatically I felt empowered. Honestly, I felt like superwoman. You can see me jumping for joy over there. I have to tell you, I'm married, mother of 2. I've got a 16-year-old and a 3-year-old. So you can imagine moody teenagers and terrible 2 tantrums is a lot to deal with. So I need to feel like Superwoman. I need to be empowered. I need an organization that understands that my personal life is important to me as my career. And without a doubt, BMC has given me the ability to achieve that. I can say that my first financial year coming up in March, and I am well on my way to succeeding and achieving beyond 200% of my number. Next slide, please, Charlie. So what is it about BMC? What about the culture? What do I enjoy? Guys, we really are a team. Every single time I was asked to do something, whether it be, Shanaz, you need to share a business plan with us, or Shanaz, you need to share an account plan with us. I was like, oh my God, another deliverable, and I'm so nervous because I need to share with the team what I want to achieve, and what if I don't achieve it? Until someone actually came to me, one of my team members came to me and said, Shanaz, this is not a deliverable. This is actually a collaboration. It's drawing in the ecosystem and helping them understand what you want to achieve and them helping you achieve that. So genuinely, without a doubt, at BMC, we are a team. Having said that, I have to also say that when I joined BMC, it was at a very difficult stage in my life, right? I lost my dad. And I also found out that my mom had stage 4 cancer. And this is where I realized that, this is an organization that cares about its people. The support, the comfort that I got from my immediate team, as well as the extended BMC team, was absolutely phenomenal. And I was able to take care of my mum and at the same time deliver on my commitments at BMC. In addition to that, guys, we take having fun serious. I mean, that sounds so cliched, but it's honestly the truth. And if I had more time, Karen, I would have actually shared with everybody on the call our disastrous attempt at doing the Jerusalem challenge that I'm sure most of you know about. And that is us having fun, not taking ourselves seriously, knowing that, it's difficult times, we're working from home, we need to let go, we need to understand that there's pressures that we need to deal with more than before. So we need to have fun, and we do it well. I've got learn and discover here. I've always wanted a position where I am pushed outside of my comfort zone. I've been here 18 months. I am not anywhere near my comfort zone. I'm continuously pushed. I'm continuously motivated to learn new things, to discover, and understand what BMC is able to offer not only our customers, but also to me as an individual, as an employee of BMC. Just showing you the picture in the right-hand corner, that's me believing that I am a superwoman. I am a super mom. I'm able to work. I'm able to take care and handle a toddler throwing tantrums because I've got the ability to actually achieve a work-life balance. So before I carry on, as I said, I've got lots and lots to tell you about why I believe that BMC is the right organization for me and why I believe that we're on towards another 40, maybe 100 years of being absolutely unstoppable. I'm going to hand over to our very own successful Carol. Over to you, Carol. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you very much, Shanaz, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. It's my true pleasure to be able to talk to you today, to be able to share my journey at BMC and why I truly believe that BMC is a great company to work for. First, a few words about me. I'm married. I have 2 boys, Niels and Lucas, 17 and 13. And as you can tell from my accent, I am actually from France, even though I now live in the US, in Seattle. BMC made it possible for us to move to the US. I would say that it's been probably the most incredible family adventures that we ever had. As I said, I started as an account manager 5.5 years ago in Paris, and then was able to move to Seattle with my whole family, because at the time we thought it would be a great opportunity to arm our kids with, skills such as resilience, openness, be able to learn a second language, be exposed to a different culture, and you know, be able to embrace a new challenge. And really, to this point, we have not been disappointed at all. So there were also two key drivers at the time when choosing Seattle. The first one being what we love to do as a family, which is skiing, which is really the sports we love to do together. We are surrounded by a lot of ski resorts. And also the fact that Seattle, as you probably all know, is a hometown of companies such as Amazon or Microsoft. And those two giant companies are actually also joined now by all the Californian, you know, Google, who is across the street from my home, Facebook, Apple, etc. So in fact, wherever you go, whoever you meet, there's a very high chance you're talking to somebody in tech, which makes it really, really exciting. I didn't say, but that's obvious, I would say. BMC made it happen from the start. I was, you know, I just loved all the people I met with from the interview process, all the people who were part of this, you know, of the recruitment from, at the time, Stéphane Chantalou, France general manager, and Paul Kent, who is the VP of sales in EMEA. It was just, you know, incredible to be able to meet those very smart people, humble people at the same time. You could tell from the questions they were asking that they were challenging you, but in the right way. And as Stéphane used to say, you know, we make serious business, but we don't take ourselves seriously. So I think that's something I always keep in mind. When I look back at my career, again, I was a global account manager for Orange, who is Europe #4 telco. Orange is part of an EMEA program called the STAR program, which is designed for our largest customers over there. And when I was in this position, I got to travel a lot to the US, in fact, either for customer events that my customer was attending or even trainings. And that's really how, you know, this idea of moving to the US with my family came up. So thank you again, BMC, for making it happen. As you can tell, BMC truly empowers its employees to do, you know, crazy things that the decision we have taken to move over there. So I've been in Seattle for now 2 years and a half. I was in charge of some of our largest accounts over there, and then the second year got promoted to a regional sales manager position in a strategic organization. The thing I truly love about BMC, I already spoke about a few people, is really the culture, the fact that BMC is truly a customer-centric company, and that it also puts its employees at the heart of everything we are doing. And when you think about, you know, the combination of the two, that makes things really incredible. First of all, BMC is obviously investing in all the, you know, the right things so that we can make our customers successful. And as I said, it also empowers people to be able to do innovative things. And, you know, you have your company back whenever it comes to doing the right thing for the customer. We are also encouraged, obviously, to be fearless and to embrace innovation, and this is something we live as part of our values on a daily basis. BMC is also like a second family. I mean, you heard Shahnaz talk a lot about, you know, the fact that we win as a team. I mean, there is an amazing team spirit. We are never alone. We never win alone. We win because we are surrounded by amazing people, as I said, very smart people, and we are also able to celebrate success as a team. So the second thing that you see on my slide is actually that, you know, we work hard, that's true, but we also love to have fun as a team. Whenever we do a QBR, that's the first picture on the left, you know, a quarterly sales review, we would always pick a nice place to have this QBR so that we can celebrate at the end of the QBR. And this is us at a Kings game in Sacramento last year. As you can see on the right as well, you've heard about, you know, the ability to be rewarded and when you overachieve. BMC is always taking its employees to some of the best places in the world, and that's me and my husband on the right, scuba diving in Hawaii. I mean, again, so lucky to be able to experience all of this. So work hard, pray hard. It's a very motivating environment. Results are truly rewarding. And again, those pictures hopefully highlight some of this. The second key thing, which I think is huge at BMC and a true differentiator, is the fact that, you know, if you have the privilege of working in sales, BMC, first of all, is a real sales-minded company. Everybody speaks the same language. We all follow one of the most advanced and complete sales process in the software industry, which is here to actually guide you and maximize your success rates with your customers and delivering the best value to our customers. So again, maximizes your chances of again making the good earning. Your voice is heard. Our executives are aligned to our accounts, and you can go on calls with our executives, which is again a key differentiator. You can talk to anybody at BMC. I already spoke a lot about the fact that it's a very rewarding environment. First, as a personal level, again, the ability when you overachieve to, in fact, make earnings, which can be life-changing for some people, but also as a team. I spoke about that, but also with your customers, right? We are extremely relevant to all the challenges that our customers face today. We are dealing with some of the top IT trends, such as DevOps and AI and, you know, automation and IoT, etc. So we always make sure that we provide the best value to customers. We are able to measure this value, and it's extremely rewarding to I would say know that your customers are successful and that you help them in this journey. The second point is career development opportunities. I think I'm a great example of that. Obviously, BMC gave me this massive opportunity, and I will always be very thankful for that. But the final thing I'd like to say that we also make sure to give back. BMC is giving back to its employees. In fact, the second picture you can see, you know, on the rafting, it's me and my family rafting on South Fork American River last summer, because during the pandemic, BMC decided to give its employees a few days off because we were all working extremely hard. But of course, we also make sure that we give back to, you know, the community and all the people in need. Again, whenever we have a QBR, we make sure that we do something for, you know, either a charity. We prepare meal for families in need or homeless people. And that's us in the middle, actually preparing lunch pack for kids at a charity in California. Again, I hope I've given you a good overview of why I think it's, BMC is a good place to work. Feel free to reach out if you have any question. And I would like now to hand it to Kelly Hageman, who is going to be your next speaker. Kelly has been with BMC 9 years. She's actually leading our inside sales organization for the Americas. She's based in Florida. She has 2 kids, a daughter called Megan, a son Joey, and she's an avid New York Yankees, even though she's based in Florida, and a fan of the Bay Buccaneers. Kelly, I hand it to you.
Thanks, Carol. I had forgotten I'd give you those notes before, so I'm going to give a shameless plug to kick things off for my Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Super Bowl 55 champions. As a 20-year Tampanian, I just couldn't in good conscience not bring that up. But thanks so much, Carol. It is really great to virtually meet everyone today. As Carol mentioned, my name is Kelly Hageman. I'm the Director of America's Inside Sales here at BMC. I've been married for 14 years to John and have 2 kids, Megan and Joey. And those 3 are a huge part of my why. And that's a big thing that we talk about within the inside sales organization. And when we're recruiting new folks to come into BMC is always encouraging people to really think about your why and keeping that close to your heart. So today I'm going to spend just a little time talking about my professional journey to become a woman in IT and why my career and growth at BMC has been a huge part of my development, and why it really is a very special place to call home. But I started my professional career way back in 1995, working for Robert Half International as a recruiter in New York City. So talk about dangerous. I was a 25-year-old gal from Southern California, let loose in the big city. I didn't know as much as I thought I knew, which was one of my first big lessons of professional development, is learn to be coachable, even when you're pretty sure that you know it all. After several years at Robert Half in various account manager and leadership roles, I, as Carol mentioned, followed my beloved New York Yankees down to Tampa. They actually spring trained down here, so that's the connection between the Yankees and Tampa. And I realized it was time for a career change. So a friend that I had met had started working at Computer Associates, and she got my foot in the door there. So although I had zero tech experience, I took on the position with just a massive sense of curiosity and competitiveness. And I was very fortunate. While I was there, I met some amazing colleagues who were just good enough to keep me on their radar when they moved on to another great company, which is how I landed at Numara Software, which was my work home for the next 7 years. There I worked as an account manager, handling accounts all through the Midwest, focusing on IT service management solutions. And at that time, we were about $100 million company. I really thought things just can't get much better than they are now. Great culture, collaboration across business units, exciting growth, great people. So, as happens in life sometimes, right in the middle of this perfect work fairy tale, in February of 2012 came news that we were being acquired by BMC. And just like that, an unexpected, I guess you can say, wrench was thrown into my ideal world, or so I thought, because really this acquisition taught me that the phrase, when a door opens or a door closes, another one opens, really has so much truth to it. So Derek, do you mind advancing to the next slide, please? As soon as we, got acquired by BMC, I immediately got a chance to and I was determined to show what I was made of. I had been I'm not going to say I was a big fish in a small pond, but I certainly was a bigger fish at Numara than I was at BMC. But I still wanted to make an impact. I was determined to not just make this work, but really grow in ways that I might not have had the chance to do at the smaller company that I was at before. It did seem like most days for the first year that I was part of BMC, I felt like I was back to being a rookie, but I started putting myself out there. And, Shanaz mentioned going outside your comfort zone, really putting yourself out there when you're in a new situation, and proactively forming relationship, asking questions, learning about people who aren't necessarily in your immediate sales group, but all across the ecosystem. So that was kind of my first lesson of coming into a big company like BMC. But I'd say mostly what I attribute my growth to here is that I never said no when I was asked to take on something new, even if I felt like I was way over my skis in what I was being asked to do. So after being an individual account manager for many years, I felt like it was time to change my focus toward a leadership role and hopefully become a similar strong, positive influence for others that I'd been lucky enough to have throughout my career. So fast forward all the way to the present day, and why I'm truly glad that all of you took time to learn more about what makes BMC so much more than just a workplace. So, when I ask myself, why BMC, and why do I see this as a place that I could spend the rest of my career? I'm 50 years old, and I can see myself being at BMC until I'm done working. But, when I really break it down, why am I proud of what BMC does is we're a 40-year-old company, and we are still willing to change and evolve. We started with the mainframe back 40 years ago, and how we're helping customers has been evolving ever since. The breadth of the technology that we have and the number of ways that we can help customers is really unmatched in the market. And that's just a really empowering feeling, but mostly because we have so many ways that we can help customers be more successful. The next thing, as has been mentioned by multiple colleagues of mine who have spoken before, career growth progression opportunity is everywhere. Truly, if you want to continue growing in this company, you will be given the support and the tools. We all compete and we collaborate equally, but mostly everything's going to go back to the culture and the people. I should have mentioned on the previous slide, a quote from Colin Powell that really talks about, it's not necessarily strategies. Everything comes down to making sure that you're treating people right and you have the right people on your team. So in general, why do I feel so lucky to be in my role? Work-life balance will always be number one. And that's something that I've seen consistently throughout my now 9 years at BMC. Just had my 9th year anniversary on February 4th. There are continuous opportunities to keep challenging myself. I'm really surrounded by people who truly care about me and support me, and they make me want to pay it forward to other people. I get to work with professionals who are developing in their careers, and I get to see them just thrive and kind of catapult their careers to the next level. And, during the last year, I got to experience firsthand just how resilient and adaptable we can be. During COVID, we had to change how we work, and we've all been forced to find the silver lining in places we've maybe never looked before. But I think a lot of positives came out of that. So, I am just truly inspired by the colleagues around me and how they and BMC care about the community outside of our immediate circles. Carol mentioned something very dear to me, which is the BMC Cares program, and how we are given the freedom to work with immediate community causes as well as larger causes like Melanie talked about, planting the trees. But really, we all grow together. We push ourselves out of our comfort zones. We win and we earn together. You see the tsunami of money there. That's, we really do have the chance to be extremely successful, but we do it together. And we're really inspired together. So one of the pictures on the slide now was our slogan for the International Women's Day celebration last year that we hosted in Cary, North Carolina. But these kind of simple lines, really talk about what I want to keep developing across women in IT is that we all feel like we've got the power to be, we've got the power to give, and we've got the power to see. And the more of us that are spreading that across females that we know and empowering women, our industry and our companies are just going to keep getting better. So I would love the chance to connect with any of you on LinkedIn and answer any questions that you guys have about sales at BMC. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share some of my thoughts. And then now I'm going to introduce Elizabeth Gaylord-Voss, DBA PAM extraordinaire out of Berlin and fellow woman of IT. Elizabeth is married with a 3.5-year-old son. So I don't know, she might be out of that tantrum phase, Shanaz. And she has an amazing story of career growth at BMC to share with you. So take it away, Elizabeth, it's all yours.
Thank you, Kelly. Well, that was a wonderful introduction, and I'm going to see if I can add some more substance to what you've already said about me. So hi, everybody. I'm really delighted that you're all here and really excited to share some of my own growth at BMC. So Kelly already said I have a 3.5-year-old son, and so my journey with BMC started before I was a mother, and then somehow the two things kind of went along one another, and that's a little bit of what I want to tell you about. But first, so I'm based in Berlin. I just want to give you a little bit of background, and I actually joined BMC the first time in 2015, right out of college, fresh from school. And what I want to highlight, without any background in economics or IT. So my academic background is in communications and foreign languages. And what I love about BMC, or what I loved then already, was that BMC doesn't look for this one specific skill. BMC hires for DNA and attitude. And I think I really didn't have much to offer at the time when I joined as a BDR, except for the fact that I had this kind of still academic mindset of being curious and being confident that I'm capable of learning new things quickly, and the fact that I'm outspoken and I can ask questions because I'm curious. So a few of the ladies before me already mentioned how important these things are, also in order to be seen and to be heard and to position yourself well within the company. And I think that's one of the main things that I had no idea how powerful it was to use your voice and to be heard and in order to advance your career. So what I want to narrate a little bit around is that picture that you see on the top left. So my four stunning colleagues, Connor, Alex, Francesco, and Simon, the five of us there at a sales kickoff in Las Vegas, way back when, I think 2019, that must have been. So the five of us all started around the same time in the Dublin office in BMC as BDRs, so as business development reps, which is an entry-level role into a sales career. And at the time, that was 2015, we were all working different markets, but we were all working in the same office. So obviously we knew each other and we shared stories and successes. But what I loved later on was I left BMC to move to Oracle and work in an inside sales role later on to advance my career. And then eventually I came back to BMC to become a product account manager. And when I came back in 2019, the first guys I ran into at the sales kickoff in Las Vegas was those four guys. And they were all still there and they had all progressed their career just as I had, with the difference that I had gone external and they had stayed within BMC. So it was great to catch up with them again and to see that there are so many diverse ways that people go when they start out as a BDR in BMC. So that's something that really still resonates. And when I found that picture, I felt I had to share that with you because, I mean, there's not much in terms of better proof that BMC is a long-term company with good visions and paths forward for everybody. That lovely gentleman on the right that you see, I chose that picture specifically because I wanted to highlight that hierarchies are flat in BMC. And also for junior people or also for youngsters who were, well, courageous enough to put themselves out there, it's easy enough to engage with senior execs. So the gentleman you can see enjoying his espresso there with me together, we're both some coffee addicts, is John Harmon, so our vice president worldwide for the business unit that I work for. And when I went to my sales enablement in Houston 2 years ago, he basically walked in and was like, oh, hey, Ellie, I remember you from way back when you were our top BDR in 2015. And thanks to you, we have this and this account. So let's go and grab a coffee. This is the kind of culture that I really enjoy at BMC and that I think stands for or speaks for itself and is such a big, unique factor of why I enjoy working at BMC. And in terms of the ecosystem, the picture here on the bottom, that's our, well, I'd say local DBA team across Austria, Germany, and Switzerland. And what's really great is that for all the customer events that we drive locally, where we get together, it always feels like we're kind of reconnecting a big family and everybody is in touch and in sync with each other individually, but once, twice a year, of course, outside of COVID times. It's just wonderful to get together in person. You can again see John there in the middle. So he flies over from the US to support us locally with the customers, which is something that I really appreciate. And that's also a big plus from my perspective in comparison to working for a giant company like Oracle, where of course you could be hitting your target, you could be making millions or achieving 200% plus, but nobody 2 ranks above you would even know your name or shake your hand for it. So that's one of the reasons why I really enjoy BMC so much. And some of the things that the ladies before me said also resonated a lot with me, so I want to take a little bit of time and mention that as well. So what Shanaz said basically about how they as a team like to get together, it struck me that one of the guys in the picture, I don't just know him from Skype or because we work in the same organization, but I actually know my colleague Miles from South Africa because I went to the same onboarding session like him. So I love that we're globally connected as a team and that people that you work with in BMC, you run into them every now and then at events, even though they're located in a different geo or they have a different role, and you can keep in touch and follow each other's progress. Personally, I also want to highlight that the development in BMC for me was, it was really ideal. So I started as a BDR, I mentioned that already, went on to Oracle. After that, I took some time off for maternity leave, had my son. And when I was ready to go back to work, I immediately thought of BMC because it was the kind of culture that set the tone of where I wanted to be working. And when I started the interview process, with huge help from Claire, by the way, who's also in the call today, one of our recruiters in Dublin, together with Karen, I realized quickly when I spoke to her that a lot of the colleagues that I had worked for previously as a BDR were still there, and they were still happy and still successful. So that was another argument for me to see this as a chance for long-term growth, and to kind of jump into it again and make sure that I can take that next step with BMC. What I love about our immediate DBA team, but that's also the spirit in BMC overall, is that we live by this rule of sharing is caring. So it doesn't matter if it's customer success stories, or if it's hurdles, or if it's struggles that we all live through every day with surviving tantrums and COVID times. Some people have already brought it up. It's just wonderful that there's open ears everywhere, and that people are ready to lift each other up, and that in the teams, the diverse strengths and weaknesses are really appreciated and played at as well. So in our sales team, we're 5 people, and we're all completely different, but that is obviously part of the recipe for our success. And that also allows us all room for personal growth, because we can learn from each other. Some of the others have also mentioned that BMC supports charity or supports charitable interests a lot, which is something that's really important to me too. So in Germany, I think it's different in every country. We can take up to, I think, 2 or 3 days a year specifically for a charitable work on top of the regular holidays. And I love that BMC fosters that, and that BMC gives the space and the room to kind of give back and to take the time to look after things outside of work that are relevant for the individuals. And if we could just move on to the next slide, I'll share a little bit more on where things are going with BMC for me. What I love about this slide, and what's the reason why I put it up this way, is that for me, I can't immediately say when I look at those pictures, was I working or was I having fun? Because most of the time it's both. So only actually the picture with my son in the top left there is 100% a picture from a private trip, and the rest is all in one way or another work related. So we try to have as much fun as possible when we're working and when we're doing customer events. I love that BMC takes us to so many exotic places. Pre-COVID, in that 1 year, I went to the US, I went to Madrid, I went across Europe for different trainings, went to the US again for sales kickoff. And as you can see, when we bring our customers to interesting venues, it's literally interesting venues. So we held this big event in the Munich soccer stadium. And after that, as a team event, our manager took us on a 2-day skiing trip. So it is always a nice combination of investing a lot of hard work and then being rewarded by a couple of relaxing days off and enjoying something to refuel a little bit. And I guess what I also want to mention a little bit, because I've seen it popping up in the questions, is the perception of women in IT, because that was something, oddly enough, when I started at BMC. I mean, of course I knew that IT was more of a male dominant field, but I had never given any thought to it. So first of all, it's definitely getting less uncommon, or let's say the ratio of women and men is definitely leveling out a lot more. But what I also see is that it's just a huge benefit to have to the whole industry, and it also benefits our success to be working in more diverse teams. And something that Melanie said resonated a lot, because when I joined BMC, I didn't consider myself part of a minority group because I was a woman, but I slowly became aware of that kind of concept. But now, to be honest, I find it empowering, because the communication styles and the approaches to solving problems are just sometimes completely different, and I think everybody benefits from each other's diverse point of view. And on that part that related from what Melanie said to being asked to dance being the real part, or the real proof for proper inclusion, well, let me assure you there's lots of dancing at BMC, especially at the sales kickoff and the sales club in Hawaii. I'm almost done here. I'm aware of the fact that I've been talking for a long time, so I just want to spend a few minutes on what motivates me really to stay within BMC and to keep working here. There's obviously always offers and options out there that you think they may be interesting. But what I think stands out in BMC is the opportunity to balance your own personal advancement with your professional advancement. So from a financial perspective, I feel very safe. I know that I'm successful. I know that I have my own success in my own hands, but I know that I deal with people every day who have an understanding of the fact that we're all individual people with their own life stories. So balancing a toddler and starting a new job, and then without childcare in COVID times, of course it's stressful and of course it's a lot of work, but I know that people trust me to do the best of my ability, and that I think the most important thing is that within BMC you learn to be independent and to be responsible enough to make the right choices of how to prioritize your time. Of course, I prioritize my family, but of course, if things need to be done and if things are relevant and if things are time critical, I will be available after hours if I have to be in order to solve something, so that I can take that liberty to structure my own days. Other than that, I think the last point that I want to focus on for just a moment is, I know it sounds like a bit of a buzzword, is the growth mindset. So this is 100% not something that I was born with. I didn't know what the concept meant, and personally I have discovered and embraced the whole concept for myself at BMC. So I didn't know what it meant, but through my journey in BMC, I have seen that by constantly learning and asking questions and continuing to want to develop further, I can achieve so many things and I can grow in so many directions and leave my comfort zone and grow more, that this has become a bit of a narrative in my whole life. So even if it's not work related and I struggle with things sometimes, if it would be childcare or child raising or family matters, whatever it is, I remind myself of moments in BMC where I have succeeded despite the fact that initially I thought this would be impossible to tackle. And that's something that I'm really grateful for, that BMC has enabled me to learn, and that's something that I will certainly carry with me for the rest of my life and also hopefully pass on to my son later on. And with that, I think I'm done, and I look forward to reviewing all the questions that we may have.
That was absolutely super. Thank you to everyone who has spoken today. I've really enjoyed it myself, so I hope our audience has. I've no doubt that they have learned a lot. I certainly have. I think it's so interesting that each woman that got to speak today have very different backgrounds. They've taken very different journeys, you know, and they've really succeeded in their own way. So it's been an amazing experience today for me to learn about you all, and well done. I think you spoke beautifully. And yes, we have a lot of questions in the chat box, some very interesting ones, and I think you'll be able to add a lot of insight to them as well, because today, you know, we spoke a lot about growth, we spoke about personal development, about how we work with BMC Cares and, you know, giving back to our different communities and what's important for us. And also, Elizabeth, one thing that you said there really kind of stuck with me. Was I working or having fun during the pictures? You know, I think that's a really good thing. So let's take it to some of the questions and see what we can come up with. So I think the first one, very timely in what we all kind of want to hear about and what's at the top of our minds, usually on a daily basis when we speak to different people. But how do you handle working from home and balancing your family? So I think, Melanie, if you'd like to take that.
Yeah, sure. You know, it's interesting because so many of us have kids or family members, extended family members living with us now, or in all different stages of our lives, right? I've got 2 teens who are, you know, working or taking school remotely, and it's a constant juggle, I guess, and remaining flexible is absolutely key. In the beginning stages of COVID, now let's just all agree, this pandemic has changed everything. I don't know if Elizabeth is going to have the same set of awesome pictures next year as she did this year, but I do hope to catch her on those ski slopes at some point. You know, for us, it's really, or what I've found that works for me, I'll stick there, is setting some expectations. right? So being well prepared will help keep you cool in the moments when you're really feeling like you're going to lose it. I have, like I said, I've got a special needs child who struggles to get online and struggles to stay engaged for her online schooling. And it's imperative that I get her in a position where she's comfortable, where she has a snack, all those things that keep her successful throughout the day. It's how do you plan for yourself, plan for your children, plan for your customers, plan for your peers and colleagues. One thing that I really loved that I've found since being here at BMC is mixing the two. There's a group over in our EMEA team that actually, as a teaming event, to bring their cultures together from the variety of countries they represent and to include the balance of work and family, is that they set out once a week, they take a couple hours out of the day and they do a cooking session together. One person's responsible to bring the recipe. They all make the same meal and they make it for their families. So they've built the team, they've fed their families, they've gotten to know each other, their cultures, their personalities, and it really is just a whole different spin. So I think, how do you balance it? Think outside the box. Think of really what's truly important. Make sure those bases are covered. And then where can you add a little extra fun and flair? Because frankly, we're all still sick of looking at the same four walls, I think. But yeah, and if that fails, ask some friends. So people who seem happier than you or less stressed than you, what are they doing? I think, none of us have all the solutions, but none of us should be afraid to drive the community as well.
Yeah, very good. I totally agree, Melanie. And I think, in what you said, thinking outside the box, we all have to try and do that in a way. And BMC allows us and helps us to do that as well. It gives us the freedom to be able to do it. So thank you for that. Another important question that came up from the audience was in terms of, does BMC promote from within? So Carol, I think you'd be a great person to take that question.
Sure. I don't know if I am the best to answer this question, but for sure what I have been able to witness during those 5.5 years, and Melanie is actually a very good example. Melanie comes from the outside. So I would say that BMC is promoting a lot, from within. When it comes to sales position, a lot, like I think I've heard the number of 80% of our leadership actually started on the field. So our executives in sales truly know, what it takes to be an account manager. And again, we all speak the same language. So they started at BMC on the field and now have those, high-level executive positions. So I would say the best answer is probably that it is a mix, depending on, the person's background and experience, and just BMC would just make the right choices for the positions that needs to be filled.
Yeah, very good insight. Would anyone like to add anything on that?
Yeah, Karen, I'd love to, only because the promotion and the career path is so critically important to my organization in particular. I've had the privilege of running the Americas Inside Sales team for the last 2 years. And so far, just this fiscal year, which started in April, out of the, let's say 60 or so headcount we've promoted 18 people into just the next level up, whether it's from a BDR, which is our, kind of our entry-level sales position where you really learn about BMC, you learn about prospecting, BDR up to an inside sales rep, or an inside sales rep out to a field account manager. We've had BDRs be promoted out to software engineers. So folks who come in that really have more of a technical mind frame, they're more of the Melanie mind frame. We have paths to get them out to those roles as well. So really there is no ceiling on the potential here. We give you the tools to learn and grow and the encouragement, as long as you provide the courageousness and the hard work and the teamwork.
Brilliant. Yeah, I love that. I like to clasp onto numbers like 18 promotions. So that's really, really good. And I suppose the next question, we still have a few minutes for maybe 1 or 2 more questions anyway. One thing that someone mentioned from the audience was, you talk a lot about how BMC has fun. Was this what you expected when you joined, or has it been a nice surprise?
I can answer to that, Karen.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm going to give you a very unfiltered truth here. I did not expect to have fun when I joined BMC as a BDR. I knew nothing about IT, I knew nothing about sales or prospecting. All I knew was I had the language skills and the curiosity to try something new. And everything I had, my whole understanding of a corporate workplace was from the TV series The Office, which is ideally not what you want to find when you go work somewhere. And I guess that's one of the reasons why BMC drew me back. I realized quickly that regardless of which role you're in, working at BMC is a lot of fun, simply for the fact that you meet so many different people. You're exposed to so many new scenarios every day. And it kind of comes along with this recipe of something new and something that helps you to repeat your success. And to do that across the globe, or to be able to travel even in an entry role to the US from Europe, or to Europe from the US, and be able to work with such global teams and meet those people in person has been an amazing experience. And I had no idea what a sales club for overachievers was until I saw it for myself. And it's not only those big milestones, but also the smaller things, like Carol said, that when we do a QBR, we have it somewhere fun, or we try to reward ourselves for it. This is all a lot of fun, and it makes the working part a lot more fun as well, when you know you're doing it with people who are dedicated and who are looking forward to spending time with you after you're done working as well.
And I think just on from that, somebody mentioned it as well, which is, yes, we've seen all the fun aspects, and we've seen Carol and her husband scuba diving in Hawaii, and Elizabeth, you on your ski trip. But how do we build, or how do we do team builds during the COVID times? I think that's an important thing for people right now.
I was only going to say, Melanie, because my team specifically is so used to being in an office, it's been really kind of a double challenge. We're used to having 50 people thriving off each other's energy in an office every day. And we are now almost into our 12th month of having everyone working remotely. So, I mean, I am scouring the internet every day for new fun things people are doing. We recently did a remote Pictionary game, which if anyone hasn't tried it, it is so much fun. But we've done cooking classes, we've done wine tastings, we've done baking lessons, we've done trivia. Of course, the steady fallback of a happy hour or a morning coffee, but really you just have to continue to come up with nutty, crazy ideas and be okay with being a little silly, because that's just what's keeping us feeling like we're still as together as we can be.
Yeah, and good job on that. Like, it is, I think you do have to admit and be willing to be a little bit silly now and again, especially on the video calls and everything. But I love it. I think it's great. And we're all making that effort in what I see across the regions and the different departments in BMC. So we're just coming up on time, everyone. And I just wanted to wrap it up in saying thank you again so much to our speakers for joining today. It was really wonderful to hear them speak. And thank you so much to the audience that have joined us. I really hope you have, been enlightened today, and please follow us. Check us out on LinkedIn. Feel free to connect and chat with us, and take a look at our careers website as well to see what could be open right now. Thank you all.